Yo.
Hey, welcome to the new meta, episode 183.
183. Can you believe it?
183.
It's been a bit of a gap since the last
Yeah,
one.
it's been a while. It's probably going to be a while to the next one, too.
Can we talk about why we didn't have one last week?
I didn't know if last week was my anniversary.
Okay.
My 10-year anniversary last week. And so I was like, Leo, let's do it on Wednesday. And then you had stuff going on Wednesday, so you couldn't. And sucks.
Yep.
The week before that, I don't remember. Honestly, it's too far back in time. So it's been a while. And then just like I guess laundry keeping right here or whatever. You're out forever. Like Fluff's literally traveling the world for weeks. So what's the I don't even honestly remember the schedule. I have to tweet it in DMs to us so I can go reference it in the following week, so I know when you're getting back, because I forget.
I will for sure be gone the next two, 18th and the 25th.
Okay.
I
want a calendar up.
I will. So for people that don't know, I will not even be in Kansas City for the next 2 months. I'm traveling that much. So
going to rob your house. Let's go.
I will be in town on the 1st, but I'm also leaving bright and early the 2nd.
Okay.
I should be able to do the 8th. The 2nd, I'll be back on the 6th, and then I leave.
Maybe the 8th.
Yeah, I leave again on the 9th, but I could be doing something. It's packed, and then after that, I go to Peru, and I'll be there for 3 weeks. I probably won't be back until October.
Yeah. So this might be the only episode for the next month or two. We'll see. Maybe we can get one in on the 8th, or maybe we can try to get one on the 7th.
Yeah,
which is the Wednesday before that. So if that works out, we'll see. We'll try to get something going. But
yeah, last episode till D4. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Next episode coming Blizzard soon.
Right.
So.
But yeah, man, a lot of stuff coming up. I'm excited.
Yeah, let's do it. So what else has been going
on? Gosh, since the last. What have I even done?
You married yet?
Yes, actually, yeah.
Nice.
I have 5 wives and
5 wives?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I joined a cult.
Something to strive for. You know what? Not a lot's been going on. So I had my 10-year since the last episode. I think. Oh, that's probably why I missed the one before. My oldest son turned 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, he turned 16. He started driving. That's been cool and a nightmare at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then that's really about it, man. Work life's been kind of nutty, but that's kind of the same. It goes in spurts. Super busy, super not busy. So
okay.
Let's talk about some video game stuff.
Sure, let's do it. So many moons ago, we asked on the Twitters, New Meta Podcast question of the week: what are your thoughts on Diablo 3's PTR patch 2.7.4? And that's the one that had all the new powers, 3 new powers per class, plus Tragul rework and a bunch of other stuff for classes no one cares about. Option 1, oh my god, poggers. Option 2, Crucible powers, meh. Option 3, not feeling it. We're kind of split. Obviously, oh my god, poggers wins, and I actually agree with this sentiment. I think this will be a good league, actually.
Good season. That's not
sure, whatever. Everyone understands at this point that we can swap season and league. They are synonyms in the video game world.
It still drives me nuts to this day. And I remember when you made the switch, you used to call PoE season leagues seasons, and then when you became a PoE streamer, it just changed.
They're synonyms. They're synonyms. But yeah, so 23.9% of the vote says Crucible powers meh. It must be witch doctors. And 26.9% of the vote says not feeling it. Also probably witch doctors. So.
I've heard the witch doctor stuff is pretty fun, actually. What I've heard.
I have not heard that at all. Where did you hear this?
I've heard that. I've actually had people tell me that the witch doctor stuff is phenomenal.
Jade? That's it.
Huh? Listen, I'm telling you, I heard I didn't look at it's a witch doctor. You think I actually went and looked to see what it did?
If you're trolling right now.
No, I'm being 100% serious. I swear to you, I swear I'm not lying. Okay. I've had multiple people tell me that the witch doctor is amazing and that's what they're going to play next season. So There's one where it like grips everything in on the entire screen, basically.
I thought that was Jade.
And it was a skill. I don't know. It was a skill that I didn't even know what it was. It was like, what? It's like one of the totem runes that I had never heard of. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just like, listen, it's Witch Doctor. I don't play Witch Doctor, so I don't know. But I heard it was good. So
I'll believe you.
Yeah. Witch Doctor people can tell us.
I forgot to start this one. And then the new Meta Podcast question of the week for next time is, what are your thoughts on Path of Exile's upcoming Lake of Kalandra League?
What, is that announced today?
It was the most wonderful time of the quarter for me. You know what sucks though? Is I will not even be able to play this one. Sad. It starts next Friday. I won't even be here. So
I got questions about that, but I'm sure we'll jump into it.
What
and
the
I'll
hell?
Get a little nap before.
Okay. Great. Spend that in chat. But yeah, let's get into some gaming stuff, shall we? So first up, obviously, season 26 coming to an end on North America, August 21st at 5 p.m. PDT. So we've got a week and a half-ish left.
Yeah.
So you guys that are still playing, which is what, 0 of you?
7. No, there's 7 people that still play Diablo.
Who plays 3 months of Diablo? I don't even know. When was the last one launched? I feel like it's more than 3 months at this point. I don't know.
I don't remember. That was the season that you died a whole bunch at the start, wasn't it?
Sure was. That's the one.
How many was it?
Never again.
Fluff 7?
Fluff
right 6? What was it?
Never 7? Again is what it is.
6. Help me out, chat. How many times was it?
I don't know. That's 0. I never die. I was reborn each time. Faster, stronger, better. But yeah. So if it ends the 21st, we can theorize that it will probably start up again the 26th.
Be my guess. Are you in town that weekend?
I will not be in town. I will still be in London.
Oof. Well, I mean, you
on
can
a Mac.
play D3 from London.
So it's not going to happen.
Peace.
I'd be like, let's me.
Yeah, running 900 MS ping
on like coffee shop Wi-Fi. That sounds like really good.
It'd be amazing.
Which is sad because I actually think this season will be cool. I do like the Necro powers, all 3 of them. Honestly, I wish that the Golem power had come with a pestilence buff, but I'm hoping the Golem power will like roll over. But we'll see. Speaking of the powers, I want to take a look at the kind of the red notes that they changed.
Yeah, they changed a couple things.
I'm not sure what this did before. Hammer of Ancients hits in all directions around the barb. Every 10th cast of Hammer of Ancients unleashes a powerful shockwave. Now the shockwave deals 10% or 10 times damage. Okay, so the shockwave got buffed. Hitting enemies generates stacks of Tempest Rhythm. Activating Wrath of Zerker consumes 50 stacks and startles enemies within 16 yards coming to take 2%. Okay. I don't know what that was before, but
I wish they would. I don't know why they went away from the old style of crossing out, and so you can see the difference. But
yeah, I'm not sure that I'm not probably other than Necro. I'm probably not going to be able to.
Yeah, I don't. They did a bunch of changes. The one that stood out to me was they lowered the amount of magic missiles that the wizard shoots out. The damage has pretty much stayed the same.
Okay,
but they just did it for a
visual clutter thing.
For a visual clutter / performance thing, I think would probably be the reasoning behind it. Damage is still the same. It was more just an effect to look cool. So apparently that doesn't change the real potential of the build. So I haven't seen it with just the 10 missiles. It looked pretty badass with the 20. So I'm hoping that it still looks cool. But
changed it.
Yeah.
We'll change Diablo while we talk about Diablo, just so it's not weird, you know.
But that's really what the changes that they did to Wizard that jumped out. And then here's the one. If you look at Bogadile, I think was the effect. Enemies affected by Locust Swarm are also haunted. When you cast Piranhas, all haunted enemies within 60 yards are pulled into the pool. Lesser enemies stunned by Bogadile and instantly killed. Elites and bosses stunned by Bogadile take massive damage.
What the hell's a Bogadile?
That's what I said. That's exactly what I'm like. What is Bogadile? It's a rune on Pronado, or I always called it Pronado because that's the rune you always took, right? But on Piranhas, I guess. So yeah, I have no idea. Is it the toad? Is it the toad that eats shit? Is that the Bogadile? I don't even know. It's like, again, it's one of those, we talked about it in D3 all the time. They have all these runes that you never use because they're just garbage. So it's some garbage rune that they just like, oh, let's bring this out of the grave. So kind of cool, I guess.
I also heard that the Blood Nova power got like a small nerf right at the end, but I don't see that on here. They did update the tooltip on the corpse skill, so now you can see which ones actually matter. I'm not sure who was confused by that, but I think it's probably a good idea. But yeah, I think honestly, like, again, I said it before, I really like this seasonal theme. I'm sad that I didn't get to play with like turning a weapon into like a perfect primal, like at the start of a season. That's gonna be pretty poggies. Are you gonna play it still without your leader
so.
And
yeah, I mean, my backpack's ready. I don't know who I'm going to put in it now. I've had to carry your ass to max level 2 seasons in a row now.
Whatever, so, dude.
Listen, but
it's the Necro season though. It sucks because like if we wanted the juice, we could have all gone Necro. We got Wratham start. Wratham's going to be god tier this league.
I could have just gone hard in the paint.
Yep, gotten crazy amounts of Paragon the first day.
Yeah, we'll see. It depends on how hard it is for me to find a team too. Like interest has definitely died down a lot over the last couple seasons, and it used to be it was a whole bunch of people that were wanting to group up at the season start. And now it's like I'm asking people, and they're like, "Nah, I'm not playing."
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, I'm struggling here. I need a fourth person, so we'll see.
What's your kind of overall thought on the league mechanic? Do you like this one? Is this your
season
new
mechanics?
fave?
Pretty nice,
just like on paper.
Yeah, no, I think it does look cool. I do like it. I like some of the changes. I think that this is a season that probably won't carry over. I think the last couple, they've tried to remix and keep them in the game, the base game. And I don't know. I guess it could. I don't know. This is going to
or they could have
really
more powers,
eliminate a lot of weapons out of the loot pool, right? Because
mm-hmm.
if you're not rocking one of these, weapons that are juiced with the extra power. So it seems really cool right now because it's new, but I think long term, I don't know if this is a good. What are your feelings? What do you think about this staying in the game permanently? I mean, obviously we have to play it and see, but
I mean, I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of like adding currency items to the game that like do stuff. So I kind of like it. I do like the idea of, because there is a lot of RNG and like. If say that bots weren't a thing, right? And like a leaderboard push is what D3 is all about. And someone that's just got like a perfect primal weapon is just gonna like beat you if you guys are same Paragon, right? Like it's just the way it is, unless you're just way better player.
Well, the bots will have access to this loot 24/7.
Sure, right? But we're just pretending for a second, right?
That they don't exist,
right?
Okay, got it. All right.
And so I like the idea of like you're not spending hours and hours grinding bounties to like try to get a primal weapon. You can just get this currency and just like slam, and you're not guaranteed to get something good. Like the stats are random, and one of the 3 powers is random. I like it. I honestly wish I wouldn't mind like if it rolled and we got like more added to the pool, and so like it became harder to get like a good weapon, right? Because if you say you had like 8 powers to choose from instead of 3, I think this effect is probably even cooler.
Yeah, it's chasing it's like chasing a primal, but better than a primal because the primal is just more stats on the same thing you've already got.
Yeah.
So I agree with that to the extent. I think it does invalidate pretty much everything but these weapons for endgame.
Right, but so they're not like weapons, they're just like you put it on a weapon that already exists in the game.
Yeah.
So like it's not like replacing.
But it makes
anything.
your weapon that you already have crap. You're like, oh, this isn't really what I want. It's like getting a non-ancient. You're like, oh, I got the weapon, but it's not the weapon I need. I need the ancient. And you're like, oh, I need the primal.
Well, you just roll it on an ancient. So all you have to do is get the ancient weapon you need. Okay.
I know how the mechanic works.
So it's like, what are you confused about? This is easy.
I'm not confused at all. I'm saying I think it long term, I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. I'm still undecided if this is a good thing to leave in the game. We'll have to see how we play, and we'll have to see the drop rate. Because Because if the drop rate's too low, it's going to feel bad. You're never going to get it. If the drop rate's too high, then you're invalidating all this shit because you're instantly just going to get what you need. You're going to be like, oh, I need this, and I'm never going to use these other weapons because I'm juicing the whole time. So we'll see.
We'll see. I did want to touch on real quick. Rax plays a lot in this game. You guys didn't know who Rax is, but he came out to tier list. I kind of agree with it. So he put his tier list in order of like who's hot, right? And coming in dead last is the Crusader. Like they're at the bottom of like literally every single list, right? So he breaks it down in the categories, which I like. He's got speed, solo push, group DPS, support, casual, and then overall. And Crusader's literally dead last in all of them. So
yeah,
yikes. Wizard is coming in at rank 6. I don't really know what changed. I know that build we looked at looked crazy good, but I guess everything, there's just so many things that are so good this season that it doesn't shine that hard. So it's kind of like in the low tier of everything. Witch Doctor, other than the group DPS being rank 2, also kind of meh. And I've heard that it's not super fun. Other than you saying that one line at the start of this, I have not heard that at all.
Listen, I'm not making that up.
I believe you.
That's literally what people told me. So,
Monk, I've heard that is just like incredible for solo speeds. Like you're just a god. I heard Wave of Light, LOD Wave of Light is just like absolutely nutty insane, the best in the game. But everything else is kind of like meh. So if you're a solo player, like this is probably a really good season to play Monk. And if you're not tired of Wave of Light, which if you play a lot of Monk, you probably are, because that's been a big build. But yeah, also pretty hard to roll though. Like I think the build, the rolls that you need to like really shine are pretty hard to get. So I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It gives you a reason to keep playing. Demon Hunter, really solid all around. Speed, it got rank 2. Support DH is really good. And it's really easy to play. Obviously strafe, anything is like, God DH is nutty easy to play. It's like Whirlwind Bar, but even easier.
Yeah.
Necromancer, he gave it rank 2. I don't agree with this. It should be rank 1. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I do agree. Like the speeds, it's like we've got way more options than we've ever had. I really, really like, I'm sad they're not gonna be able to play this season because there's 3 builds that I think are actually pretty fun. Like Rathma is really fun for speeds. Tragul Death Note was actually really fun for speeds. It's actually pretty easy to play as well for people that don't like the more complex builds. I think that the Corpse Explosion builds are really fun to play this league too. But it's number 1 in group DPS. Obviously, it'll always be probably the number 1 for group meta speeds. Rathma mages are still going to be like the go-to.
Yep.
You can't go wrong playing a support Necro. It's going to be super sought after. And then coming in rank 1 is Barb. Not because it's insane solo, but because it's just too damn good. Like this season with that Whirlwind power, being a support Barb has literally never been easier / better. It's just god tier. So that is Rax's tier list, and I agree, and I approve this message. You have anything else to add to that before we move on?
No, I mean, the logic seems pretty solid. I agree that Crusader is the least appealing to me personally. Wizard is still, I think, what I would play, even though it's listed at the bottom of the deck. I don't know. Unless that fire build really sucks, then maybe I'll pull a switch move.
Yeah.
But, historically, I like Monk a lot. I like to level Monk in the season starts. So Wave of Light I've played. It's looking juice. So I don't know. It's kind of hard, but I'll probably group a little. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe if you don't find a group, you should go Monk. I don't know. Sounds like it's really good. I wanted to bring up this article. Obviously, we probably won't be touching. I mean, I guess we haven't talked about this one-on-one, but I don't know that we'll be covering a ton of Diablo Immortal news on the podcast. I don't know. We'll see how Immortal plays out, and we'll definitely touch on some highlights here and there, but we probably won't go like delve into like, ooh, it got a new patch and stuff like that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but
Yeah, probably. I don't, unless it's like some juicy news.
right.
And most of the news around it is controversial
Yeah.
most of the time.
Most of it's pretty
like,
negative as well.
It's like tabloidy
Yeah,
style news.
I agree. But the one thing that I did find, and I will to its effect, Diablo Immortal's Reddit is like popping, right? It's banging. I almost have to like delete it to get like actual Diablo news. You know what I mean? Like I have to pull out the Immortal stuff to get the news that I think that everyone that listens here is really interested in. But I thought this one was interesting, and I think that this is something Wyatt even alluded to, right? Like his goal was to get a lot more players interested in Diablo with Immortal. That's been his goal since like day one. He said it, time and time again. And it seems, according to this article and according to quarterly results, 50% of Diablo Immortal players have never played a Diablo game. And so I want to talk about this for a sec because I want to pose this question to you. Do you think this is good for Diablo as a whole? Because, people coming in, Immortal's their first taste of a Diablo game. Is that a positive experience? Is that a net positive for the franchise? Or
I don't know, man. It's so hard to say. I will say my thought, and I think about this often, even actually this week I've been thinking about it. Diablo Immortal's been very successful from what I'm to understand, like extremely successful. And it scares me as to the monetization and the practices that will be instilled in Diablo 4 because of this. I know, Adam was quick to say, Diablo 4 is going to be basically not Diablo Immortal monetization is what he was. I don't remember word for word what his post said, but he was quick to be like, this isn't what Diablo 4 is going to be. But money talks, man, and the executives get to make the decisions, and they're the ones that are looking at the dollars, and they're going to say, hey, you know what? We made $100 million the first month the Diablo Immortal was out.
Yeah.
So why don't we go ahead and do that for Diablo 4 as well?
Yeah.
And we'll put Diablo 4 on every system, like make it work on a fucking iPad. I don't care, and then we'll get money. I don't know, but it does scare me a little bit. And I think this trend has kind of gone. I've been playing a lot of Overwatch lately. And I just enjoy that game. I don't know why. I loaded it back in like a month ago, and I've been hooked, man. I've been playing the crap out of it.
Okay,
it's been a blast. But they still have loot boxes in that fucking game, and it makes me like I lose my mind.
It's all cosmetic shit, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's no power. There's no power to it. And as far as loot boxes go, like you can play the game and get a lot of free ones, but they have so much like just crap cosmetics that eat up. And there's nothing in there that I'm like, oh, I really want this so bad. But it's just loot boxes, man. They rub me the wrong way. I don't know why. But things like that still exist. I mean, they've had loot boxes in Overwatch for 7 years. It's like, what are they going to do to the monetization in D4? Overwatch isn't a free-to-play game yet. It will be, but not yet. And it still has loot boxes. Diablo Immortal came out, and it's this way. It's like they although it's very minor, they sell stuff in World of Warcraft too. They sell mounts, they sell pets, they sell whatever, man, like wings and shit. And yeah, so I don't think Diablo Immortal, I don't see what benefits it's going to bring to Diablo 4 other than, hey, we monetized this shit horribly and it worked. Like, let's do that to D4. What are the positives? What positives do we have?
I mean, to play devil's advocate, right? I would say, obviously, 50% of Immortal players never played a Diablo game. Like, you've doubled the people that didn't know shit about Diablo, period. And so, whether or not their experience was positive or not, you could argue, like, well, they never even would have heard of it if it hadn't been for the mobile game. And so, that percentage of people, in some way, it's all a net positive, because even if it's just like 10% of that new number that never would have known about Diablo, that's still more people that are going to know about Diablo and potentially will play Diablo 4, buy a copy of Diablo 4. Or Diablo 4 speaks for itself, but now there's this big turnoff of like, okay, well, I'm never going to touch a Blizzard game again because of that wildly predatory Diablo Immortal game. So I don't know.
That's my fear too. That was going to counter with that argument. I was going to say 50% of people had never played a Diablo game, but what percent of those 50% of people are still playing and liked the game?
Yeah.
Like that 50% could have been like, God damn, like what is this? This is what Diablo's about? Diablo's about like swipey on every single thing in the game. Like, I'm not gonna like Diablo 4 is coming out. F you, I'm not giving you my money. Like, so
totally. Yeah, I'm with you, man.
Yeah,
I think it's an interesting
so we'll see.
topic. Feel free to comment.
I do hope we brought new people. Like, if we get new faces to Diablo 4, that's good. I think, provided if the game's good, I think it'll get the press. I don't think there's ever been a time where like a well-developed game didn't blow up somehow. It's
sure.
You see games that come out of nowhere, like, where'd this come from?
Right.
Oh, it's because it's a good game. People are loving it. So.
Yeah, I mean, by all means, have all those mobile players buy a PC, pick up a copy of D4, and then get farmed by me in PvP. Like, I'm in. Like,
Sure. A good example of this to me is Elden Ring. Now, I know Elden Ring had a ton of hype beforehand, but I bought and played Elden Ring because of so many people that just kept telling me, you got to play this game. Okay. It's so fucking good. You got to play this game. It's so good. And I was like, nah, man, I'm good. I don't play Dark Souls games. I'm not interested. And after like 3 months of people just telling me it was the best game they had ever played, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to spend $60 because I've had 500 people tell me to play this game. I bought Elden Ring. Dude, it was fantastic. It was absolutely baller. Like, the people spoke and I listened, but it took a while for me to believe them. But I think D4 could have that same effect if they produce a high quality game and everybody is constantly like, dude, this is the best game I've ever played. People will eventually get beat down and be like, all right, let's try it. Let's do it.
Maybe. And then something that happened during one of the weeks we weren't here that we probably would have talked about with great, excitement was, so the Battle.net launcher D4 beta came up in some of its like data mine, right? And so people are like, oh my God, the L4 beta is coming. That's crazy. But I guess shortly after, Rod Ferguson himself said, hey, all, I'm loving the energy and excitement about the L4 beta showing on the Battle.net. We should know this is an internal test only. Sorry, we will have more public testing in the future as we continue down the path to shipping in 2023. But then I found this to be interesting. So Diablo or Blizzard right now is doing like a tattoo tour, which FYI they should have sent me on. Let's be honest. It's called Hell's Inc. Promotion Tour, and some of the people that went and got a tattoo, they're getting like a little card that says, "Thank you for offering your flesh as tribute. You've been gifted early access to upcoming beta for Diablo 4." And a copy.
So
of
what
the game
tattoo did they have to get? Like, they had to pick off that plaque right there?
I guess.
Like,
which one would you have done?
Those are horrible. All of them.
You would have done all of them? Wow. You got a sleeve of Diablo tattoo?
I mean,
I don't know what I got in there.
It's kind of small. It's hard for me to see them all, but I honestly, none of them jump out.
Imagine getting like a Diablo 4 tattoo, and then like, what if the game comes out and it's just absolute dog shit, and you have a D4 on you for the rest of your life?
Yeah. That reminds me of like a tweet that I saw where a guy got Boston Celtics 2022 champions and they lost the finals to whoever, I don't remember, but the Golden State. But he literally got that tattoo. Like, that dumbass has that tattooed on his arm, like this huge like full sleeve for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I guess you can laser surgery. I don't know how well that works. Have you ever?
Okay, let me ask you. No, I've looked into it though, to be honest. I guess there's 2 pages. Oh, never mind. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Hypothetical. You get Diablo beta tomorrow, and we know it doesn't come out until at least August of 2023, right? Assuming we know this, right? And you get a tattoo tomorrow, and you get beta access tomorrow. Would you do it?
Ooh.
And you can stream it.
I got to stream getting the tattoo?
And no, you get to stream the beta.
Oh, I get to stream it? Oh, shit. How big does the tattoo have to be?
We'll say bigger than one of these. Like
bigger? Okay, so
size.
here's like an earphone case, right? Like this big? Like that?
Like maybe a little bit bigger than that. A little bit bigger.
Bigger than that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know, dude. I want to say yes, but when it comes down to it, What if it sucks and then I just got this stupid tattoo forever to get a couple months early access to a shit game?
It's a year early access.
A year early access to a shit game.
Wow. Now I'm going to take one for the team and
would you do it?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you already got like a barbed wire tattoo, so doesn't matter at that point. Where can I get it? Can I hide it? Can I put it on my butt cheek?
You could, sure.
Okay, yeah, there we go. I'll do that.
All
Let's
right.
go.
No one's going to see that. Yeah, I've done totally do it. But actually, I mean, I kind of like this campaign. People are always getting Diablo tattoos like all the time anyway.
The skull one looks okay. What I don't know what number that is. On
10?
the second row down from the top, like the fifth one over.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, I take that.
I agree.
Maybe.
Not bad. I'd probably get like
cool
something
one
Necro related. I don't know. Anyways. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. You're getting this little card. It's like, thank you for offering your flush.
Mm-hmm. Is there a key on the back of that? Can they flip that over for me?
Flip it. And then in other news, Lost Ark still going crazy. So they came out with their September, October timeline. They've got some more events happening. Most importantly, the new advanced class, the Machinist, which was formerly, I think, the Scouter. And so I've got some gameplay here of this class. This was the Iron Man class that we covered like maybe a year ago, maybe more.
Just to throw numbers out, Lost Ark, I just looked it up real quick. Lost Ark is still pulling 200K average players.
That's pretty
average concurrent.
Damn.
Is that concurrent? That's pretty nutty, man.
Pretty good. I mean, it's that game, you know? It's an MMO.
Good. That looks kind of cool though, that class. Did you play that?
I have never played this one. This one hit both Korea and Russia long after I stopped. So I've heard like crazy fun things about it. You literally like turn into Iron Man and
it looks really cool. Like he's spinning in circles doing the Iron Man thing from
all this technology, rocket ships and guns and
it better stay still for a long time for that rocket ship to hit. That looked like a super slow animation.
I mean, as long as UCC, you know.
Pretty dope.
Love the combat in this game. Just like watching this.
Yeah, it does feel so good.
I wish we had.
I wish I had never played this before I played the Diablo 4 beta. Do you remember that feeling? I think for me personally, I had just jumped into Lost Ark.
I'm glad that I played this before I played the D4 beta, honestly. Because it's like,
I was disappointed a little when I played the D4
I think
beta
I would have been disappointed either way. Because it's like, well, I'm playing D3 right now. That's not a good thing.
No, I really was hoping for some new innovation on the combat.
Yeah. Anyways, Scouter's coming out. That's a big deal. People are going crazy for that class. New Legion raid with the clown guy.
New schoolgirl outfits.
Kind of cringe skins, but you know, whatever. It's
they always have the schoolgirl outfits, man. I don't understand.
I don't get it either.
It's like every release, there's like a new mini skirt and polo or some shit. I don't know.
But yeah, Lost Ark, killing it. And then we get into what we all came here for, right? Let's be honest. What you came here for specifically.
Wait, what?
I'm not even going to talk about this really, because I know that you actually looked into this league, right? And you're going to talk about it.
I totally knew they announced it before I started doing homework for the podcast tonight.
Great. So, you just want to
watch it all.
You just want to take over and talk about what's going on. All right, tell us what's going on here.
Yeah, so this is an assassin looking at the water. He's like, I came from there a long time ago. I swam up on this shore, and then the pillars come up, and Uber Elder comes out. I think there's like 8 Ubers on this one, and it's got like some instead of red maps, they're making yellow maps. I think that's the season thing for the league. How am I? That's pretty good.
You are so off. It's not even funny. All right. So basically, this league is called Lake of Kalandra. Basically, what happens is what we're about to see on screen here. These mirrored tablets come up as you're mapping. You click on them, and you get these like basically choices of what the lake will contain once you finally filled out all these tiles. If that makes any sense. Okay. So that you pick, and once you finally like fill it up, you get to open a map to the lake, and everything that you picked will be there waiting for you. Eventually, I think you get like more tablets, and the cool thing here is that like there's always a door tile, and the further you are from the door tile is like how difficult it is. And they do it in like numbers here, right? So because this guy put it in the bottom right, and it trails all the way to like kind of a snake to the top right, it's like 10 away, and that's going to mean it's like super challenging. It's going to be super rewarding. So that's kind of interesting. The other thing I found interesting is that the Atlas skill tree doesn't affect what's in the lake, though. So I'm curious if that's going to be a net positive. They did mention that like the rewards for all the league modifiers you encounter in the lake is like super juiced up. So it doesn't matter that it's not juiced up by your Atlas skill tree, but obviously the Atlas skill tree is just nutty. So I'm just curious if it's even be worth doing these things. I don't know. I think you have to, though. I could be wrong. But of course you get like with all the, I think the last 3 leagues now, as you continue to play the league mechanic, you kind of get like, I want to say like an Atlas or like, like a skill tree to that league. So it sounds like we're going to get something like that in the sense of like these re-rolls that you'll be able to get. You'll be able to like swap things, re-roll the options that you get. You'll be able to pull things, mods you don't want out, or you'll be able to skip and see another set of stuff. So
the mechanic is you build your lake and then go to your lake and get your rewards and then start over?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what happens is you once you finish the lake, I think they show it. You get.
It looks cool when it's coming.
Yeah, actually, I think the animation.
That's a pretty
looks
dope
good.
effect. Honestly.
Yeah. What happens when you finish is you get this like shrine of reflection, and it gives you like these special mirrored items that have both positives and negatives on them. And the positives can be like doubly good, triply good. So, I mean, the idea here is you want to get something that like the negatives don't matter whatsoever, and the positives are just nutty. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I think early game this could be amazing, but I guess I also don't know like how powerful these can be. But I kind of just feel like a fully rolled like 6 stat ring would still be better. But again,
where's the negative to that one?
Like, so this one has
minus 62
reduced
mana.
cold damage, minus 62 mana. So this would be great, right? Because 28 dex, 51 max energy shield, 70 lightning res. But again, you're missing stats here, and I don't know. I think a normally rolled one would still be better than this. But again, this is just an example. It could be like actually nutty. The thing that's kind of cool is you can later on, I guess as it gets more difficult, you can bring your own jewelry in and try to gamble on that jewelry. So you can get something that is really kind of tailored towards your...
Does it destroy yours when you throw it in there to mirror it?
It doesn't destroy it, but it changes. So say you had like 70 max life, lightning res, and like damage over time multiplier. It could either double those or make them like negative. So like it could turn something that's like really good for you into like total hot shit garbage, or it could like take the stats that suck on it.
He's good at that. Like, let's gamble and
which I'm all
either
for.
Win the lottery or just fuck my life.
Totally. I love that about the game. And so this one's really cool because he got like +2 fires, all skill gems. That's like amazing if you're a spellcaster. He's got 178 max life on it. Like just those 2 alone like make this thing worth running. Obviously you could have rolled like way better, but it's kind of a good example of like what this thing could do.
Yeah, just don't get hit by lightning.
Exactly. They've added this new endgame system called Atlas Memories, and I'm not exactly sure what their goal is. I mean, I think they want you to have options like other than mapping out the Atlas skill tree. Like maybe that's too advanced for some people, or maybe even too overwhelming. So basically what this does is you'll find like a consumable in a map, and you'll right click it. You'll put on a map that you've complete, and then it gives you like a new path of what you're supposed to do. I want to get to a picture of it, like doing it. Yeah, so he's going to right click it. Anytime, buddy. And then it gives you like a path. So what you'll do after that is you'll follow the path, and then like the maps get progressively more difficult until like the final thing.
But he has to find those maps to follow the path.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
But they are connected, so like the chances of you getting those maps are pretty high. Yeah, right. Yeah. And you can roll on these maps, but again, with this, another caveat is it's not affected by your Atlas skill tree. So like all the things you're juicing on your Atlas, you run these things, and it basically just like ignores all that. I could see like this could be a good thing, because in theory, this could maybe replace like master missions. So if you're like, man, I just want to run Breach, but I don't really want to juice up Breach in my Atlas skill tree. So I'll like run these crazy juice Breach Atlas memories. I don't really know where they're going with this. I think it's good to have options, obviously, but I don't know. We'll see. They say they're going to be crazy rewarding. But again, we'll just have to see. And then, there's people saying it adds lore.
What's that?
I don't know. But yeah, they're supposed to be tough.
Only lore I know is I washed up on a beach. That's about it.
Right.
I did the campaign like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times.
They've done, this is really cool. So I think you might be into this, right? So they have done a unique overhaul. So uniques for you noobs are like basically the PoE version of legendaries, right? And there's so many in the game. Even you play plenty, and probably how many times can you count? Like you got a unique that's like, oh wow, like this is usable.
One.
Great. I'd probably like.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I only specifically remember making one because it's what I was after, and I got it, so I was excited.
So basically, what they've done is they've like kind of overhauled the chance, like what we keep saying in D3, right? Like if stuff was just harder to get, but like on average it was just like better, like maybe it'd be better for the game, and that's kind of what they're doing, right? So they're massively reducing the amount of uniques you'll see, but when a unique does drop, it's going to be significantly better than it was before. So that's kind of and they've done what they said, quote, 100 plus is what they've overhauled. I don't know if that means like some old uniques have been removed, or the old uniques are just, they're going to be
definitely know I've
patched in
gotten
the
a shit
future.
ton of uniques that are like Garbo.
Right.
Like, I'm like, this is never going to get used. So if they made them better, cool.
Right. And they did showcase some of the new unique items as well. I guess I clicked on the wrong thing. The new uniques. So they finally showcased like Ziz's choice. He gives Soul Eater from these gloves, but it goes away if you get too far. And there's some more uniques on the page itself. They show an example here of like, this is nutty. The 1,000 ribbons simple robe is kind of like, it's good if you can get like the first, I don't know, like 40 levels, but it kind of sucks after that. But now the range of what it can roll, so it went from like 5 max life to up to like 50, and from 1 to 4 lightning damage to 4 to 12. Like, it's huge. And the resistances are like more than 6 times what they used to be. So it's no slouch. You got this thing, like you would use this like all through leveling. So their intent, and Chris Wilson said it in the interview, was basically like, if you get a unique like while you level, like chances are you're gonna put it on because it's gonna be like way better than it used to be.
Way awesome. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. They did finally, and this is something we've all been complaining about the last couple leagues, is we didn't get any new skills. In this league, we got 4. So we got the Alchemist Mark, and I do like this one. So basically, it's a mark skill, which is meh, but it puts it over a target, and then anything that gets hit by that gets hit by that and gets a poison or ignited. It puts like a ground effect of that poison or ignite on the ground around it. So it's like meant for like really big hitting skills that don't do like a ton of AoE, I guess. Which sounds cool. Like, if you want to build like a kind of a slower hitting poison build, like I've been wanting to do that for some time. I could put the skill on and AoE won't be so bad. So kind of curious how this pans out. That sounds pretty cool. There's another one called Galvanic Field that like basically I think also puts a mark on a dude, and he zaps everyone that like gets near him
around him
with lightning damage. There's also a lightning conduit, which like strikes dudes that are shocked. And then finally there is like a support thing that overcharge support that increases the chance that dudes will get shocked, and the value of their shock is higher. So obviously meant to be paired with this new conduit as well.
Gem. Yeah.
And the most interesting thing here is they've revamped some of the old leagues. And so first up, they have Arch Nemesis. They talk about how elite mods are going to change, and if you get certain types of elite mods, like this one's Katava touched, it makes like the drops go a certain way. You can get up to 4 Arch Nemesis mods on elites again, which was like OP last league, but It does seem like there's a bit of power creep this league, so maybe it won't be so bad. That's one thing. Beyond has been completely overhauled. It was like hot garbage before, and it was just like mob spam, basically mob density spam. And there's a chance you get Bameth and he would just one-shot you. So that was really cool. And that's been completely overhauled to be like, I guess, the Scourge mobs. Like now when you choose Beyond, it's literally you're just seeing Scourge instead, which I'm all for. And then you get the Scourge currency items, those things that let you modify corrupted items. But I don't think you can do like the old tainted fusing thing where you can get like a really easy 6 link, which is really, really sad in my opinion. But still a good change. But the big thing here is Harvest. Like even you're going to probably know what we're talking about here, right? So Harvest, instead of like going in the Harvest, you click which plot you want and you do kill the guys and then you have to craft right then and there, right? And I think you said this many times, like, well, I just like don't want to like sit there and have 20 crafting options, and like if I don't use them now, they're just gonna go to waste, blah blah blah. But now when you like pick the plot, you kill the things, you're gonna just get life force towards that particular like crafting option, and then you're gonna go to the Hoarder crafting station at some point, and if you have enough juice, you get a pick.
You can spend it.
So
that's cool. Yeah.
No, gone are the days of sitting there, right?
That was the first thing I saw when I started. Let's see what PoE dropped today. The first thing I saw was like Harvest changes. Yay, they're amazing. Like that was the first tweet I think I saw about it.
Yeah. So this is
so.
Like,
what do you echo that? You agree with these changes? You like it?
Fuck yeah! Like it's fantastic. I mean, I kind of love to go in there and like you don't even have to pick the plots, but I mean, it's a good thing because like you do want to pick the plots.
Is it going to be OP?
I think it's gonna be great. I don't know. I guess it depends on how fast you get currency. I would assume the Atlas skill tree will really help you in this regard. Like you'll probably get more currency for Harvest. I'm curious like what this looks like for the mods that are like really good, like augment something with life. Like are those just like crazy expensive or are they still super rare? I don't really know. It looks like there's multiple currencies. So I'm curious how this all pans out. Like if this makes things a bit more like common to get, or it's still as rare as it was before and you're just like farming until you get lucky. I don't know. I'm hoping you just like farm a fuck ton of Harvest and like you could just get the things you want, but we'll see. But either way, it's a good change because I agree with the whole sentiment of, although I didn't mind it necessarily, I don't think you should like break up mapping and like sit there and spam 100 crafts, and get back to what you were doing before. I think that was good. And then kind of lastly, they talk about some balance changes. They do some minion changes here.
They had the wizard in this game. Oh.
That was minions actually.
You're shooting fireballs like it was.
Right. They've overhauled some of the necro or not the necro, but the minion items so that they're more impactful towards people that have minions. I'm not sure if this overall, this seems like a buff, and minions are already really good. So I'm curious, like, what that is. Some of you minion boys can probably tell me what that's all about. And they've also changed Divine to be like way more rare, way more rare. You would sell a 6 link before, and you get Divine orb, and now like you only get 20 fusings, which I actually kind of like still because fusings are like super super important. And Divines, I usually don't use all of them in a league. We'll see. But I guess Divines are going to be like the new Exalted Orbs. Like they're going to be super rare. Is what they're kind of making it sound like. And then lastly here, Trickster got reworked. I think they have what actually happened on the site itself. Yeah. So they basically made this like an ES god. So you'll get a 50% chance energy shield to recharge when you suppress spell damage. So, I mean, you're already getting 20% base suppress from this class. So, like, this is going to be a big spell suppressor and it can be mainly energy shield focus. And that sounds OP. Like, you just recharge when you suppress and you're suppressing all the time because suppressing still hasn't gotten nerfed, seemingly. There's also Soul Drinker, which lets you, like, overleech ES, basically. Or not overleech ES, but get the benefits of overleeching all the time. They've also got some action speed stuff, which I'm not sure I completely understand. It kind of sounds like a lesser Tailwind, but still really good. But the cool thing here is that I guess Trickster's going to be immune to like temporal chains, which I know you probably don't know what that means, but that's an OP. And then there's a heart stopper, which seems kind of like unpredictable. Every 10 seconds, every 5 seconds, you take 40% less damage from hits for 5 seconds. And then the other 5 seconds, you take 40% less damage from damage over time for 5 seconds. So it's like every 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, you're like tanky from hits. And 5 seconds, every 10 seconds, you're tanky from dots. So that would be like kind of hit or miss and not reliable. But I'm sure people will use it. 5
seconds, then get in there and face tank the bosses.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's cool. And then they talked about this, which is actually kind of nutty. I didn't think that they would do this again. So they're doing an ExileCon 2023 in July 29th through July 30th in Auckland again.
Yeah.
Chances are I would probably go to this. I hate that they did it in fucking July, though, because that's winter for them.
PoE 2 is going to drop then?
No, but it's going to be like more.
Shortly after.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if shortly after, but we're definitely going to get our hands on PoE 2 again.
I think when they announced PoE 2, my initial impression was that they were going to drop it before Diablo 4. And I think that was the play. I think that they needed to beat Diablo 4 to the punch. Now I'm not sure if they need to do that. I think that they've gotten enough exposure and their game's been good enough that people know about it as much. I still think they should beat Diablo 4 to the punch. But Diablo 4 is supposed to drop in 23.
Yeah.
So they're timing their window pretty close, you know.
I don't know.
Do you still think they need to beat them?
I think it's a good. I mean, I don't know if they need to anymore.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they need to anymore, but
I think it'd be a good choice. You know, like the thing I always say is, it comes out because people are hyped about D4, and they're like, "Oh, what's this other new RPG?" And they get a taste of it, right? And say like a week or two into PoE 2, Diablo 4 comes out, and everyone jumps ship and tries out Diablo 4. Well, like you've already planted the seed because we know PoE 2 is going to be a good game. You planted the seed, and like hundreds of thousands of players probably that like, hey, there's this new RPG, it's pretty cool. And then they try D4 and maybe they're disappointed. In the back of their mind, they're like, oh, I can just go back to PoE 2. So I think it's a net positive to beat them to the punch. But I'd also rather, Path of Exile 2 be like the best possible game it can be.
What if they got some leaks and they're like, D4 is going to suck. We're going to let them come out and suck, and then we'll come out after them and be like,
maybe.
Here we go, baby. This is what you wanted. I don't know. I do think it's a good thing for them to beat them, though. So, you think D4 drops in 23? I personally don't. I don't. I think it's going to be delayed. I think they'll announce a delay in like October of 23, and they'll be like Q1 24, and then it'll just go from there.
I mean, at this point, if I don't see a delay, right? Like, I just feel worried. I mean, we all feel worried, period, about D4. We want it to be the best possible game it can be. Everything we've seen, there's been like a big turnaround. Obviously, it's from what we saw like years and years ago until what we've seen more recently. It's been better, but like, I still don't know that there's anything that's like that we can really sink our teeth into as far as like, people that really love isometric RPGs like us. So I would love a delay if it meant for a better game. But again, I don't know. I don't really know what to expect anymore. I would love PoE 2 and Diablo 4 to be amazing fucking games. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like, okay, I know PoE 2 is probably going to carry me for like the next 10 years. I don't even know. But we'll see.
Yep.
But that's kind of, I guess they go into the microtransactions, a new Kyrix Vault Pass. They do showcase some of the new supporter packs. And the supporter packs are different. Like, I think starting last league or maybe the league before that, they started doing like more cosmetic-y things instead of just like costumes. They gave you like other stuff. So they showcase this etheric mana flask. If you use a mana flask, it gives you like green stuff sucking in towards you. They give you a hoarder stash. So it shows you like everything you're about to deposit into the stash before you do it. And then when you like do it, it all gets sucked in, which is kind of cool, I guess, right? Like
that's cool. Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything, but it's whatever. This is the actual cosmetic that comes with it. So it's like this purpley, kingly looking armor. that mimics some of your skills sometimes, which I think could be kind of visual clutter or confusing. And then there's this other cloak that like keeps track of your kill streaks. And then like when the kill streak ends, I think it shows it here. Like you just get this big pool of blood around you. Again, visual clutter. I'm not a crazy fan. This one's kind of cool. If you stand still for a while, this just like throne rises up around you and like raises you up.
Dope. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that one's pretty cool. And then Lieutenant Portal. It's a special purple portal that comes with this pack. And then the other one,
good man. Their art's gone up a lot over the last years.
The other one is the Rogue Supporter Pack. So first up is the Beast of Burden. It's a dog, like a Doberman, that follows you around, and he basically gets more bogged down the more stuff is in your inventory, right? So it's a way of, I guess, of tracking what's in your inventory or how much inventory space you have based on the visual of the dog. If that makes any sense.
The dog carry my stuff and it's like, give me more inventory. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't do that, but yeah.
I know it should.
But that would be, that'd be better win. That would be very anti-PoE. Again, more visual clutter.
Convenience. It's not anti-PoE.
This one's kind of cool. It's like every single time you pick something up, this like serpent comes down from your hand and picks it up from you instead, which is like, whatever, but
that's not his hand, sir.
Okay. All right. Nice. And this is what they actually looks like. Not bad. It's basically like a dark looking hooded thing with a mask. This one, every single time you crit, like a bunch of blades come around you, which is cool if you're trying to track your crits. Yep. This one's super visually cluttery. It's Corpse Bloom, so it basically highlights the corpses on the ground, which is nice because like sometimes maybe you don't see a corpse, but it's also like, wow, your screen's gonna get like covered in purple.
Visual clutter like crazy. Yeah, it's already overload in PoE anyways. I feel so.
So that's that. What else we have here? Unstable explosives backs attachment. I don't even know what this one does, if I'm being honest.
Is it making the graves when they die?
I guess. Oh, Undertaker's amulet makes the graves when they die. Unstable explosives back attachment looks like a bomb on your back. It must do something. Okay, it just blows up.
Just died. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Did not expect that. All right. But yeah, so those are pretty cool. And if you like Path of Exile, you should buy a support pack and support the game and stuff. So again, sadly, I will not. This will be the first league I've missed in a really, really long time. Kind of upset by it, but it is what it is. Yep. Traveling rank 1 right now. But that is it for Lake of Kalandra. Big expansion. They never cease to amaze me what they're able to accomplish in a period of 3 months. Like this is just, it's always just impressive. It's always impressive.
Can't wait for that Kotaku article, man.
Right.
PoE devs forced to sleep in the studio.
Would you have what would it take for you to go to ExileCon? Like they'd have to pay for the whole thing, or like if they're like, hey,
if
you invited to the event.
Pay for it for sure, I would
of
go.
Course, right? But
yeah, I don't know, honestly. Like I don't have a lot of knowledge from PoE, so like I think a lot of it would be wasted. It would be more just for the experience of meeting people, networking, things like that.
Yeah.
So
I think like they don't have to pay for anything, but like I would like the one thing I missed out on last time is getting to have like conversations with the people that like work there and stuff like that. So like being invited to maybe some behind the scenes stuff would be really fucking cool.
Yeah, getting like the invite for behind the scenes stuff would probably be an enticing offer, So
I will say again, I am upset. Like when I first showed it, like, oh, another ExileCon, I was like, oh fuck yeah, because I've really been wanting to like motorbike like a large part of Australia, right? So I already motorbiked all of New Zealand, North and South Island. So like that's out. I don't want to do that again, but I would love to do like Australia and like dip down into Auckland and like do this ExileCon. But it's fucking July, which is it's gonna be cold, so that sucks. But anyways,
you want to jump into some Twitter questions?
Let's do it.
Oh wait,
Fluff loves.
Fluff hates. PChild loves. Yeah. So let's is the reason you want to go to ExileCon 23? Is it to apologize and make up with Quinn? What happened? Like, are you still banned?
I am not banned. thank
You're
you
unbanned?
thank you the people, for rising up and getting me unbanned. To be honest, when I saw the clip of him unbanning me, he didn't even fucking remember why he banned me in the first place. He was just like, oh, he must have done something really toxic. But all I said is he's a face of clowns. And I stand by that. So I don't know. But yeah, we'll make up. And
he didn't remember you at all? He's like, who's that?
Yeah. No, he just didn't remember why he banned me. I think I just caught him like a really bad day. I don't know.
Yeah, he must have been upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so that's Fluff hates being banned. Whatever. I've also seen, have you seen this Woodstock 99 documentary on Netflix?
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I've seen the promo for it. And it's funny when I saw you put it in here. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because I just watched the promo last night, I think is when I saw it for the first time.
It's definitely interesting. And the reason I bring this up, so like I was at a festival last weekend, super fun. It's called Breakaway. It's a thing that happens every year in Kansas City. It's kind of like an EDM festival. And the one thing, I don't really love EDM music, but I like the festivals because like people are just there to have a good time, right? Like people, all types, shapes, sizes, ethnicities, they all come together. We're all there to like have a good time. And I really appreciate that. But there's one guy that like tried to start like a mosh pit. And like it's EDM, right? Like it's not fucking moshing music. So he's like, he comes in the middle of the crowd and he starts like pushing people. And I like grab his backpack and was like, dude, it's not that vibe. And he's like, and he goes to push me. He's like, oh, you're in like the fucking mosh zone, bro. And I'm like, no, I'm really not. No one here wants to mosh. Like, get the fuck out. He eventually bailed. But the Woodstock 99 thing is like, it's crazy. Like what happens at this thing and like the energy of different music types, even like what that can bring to like, the crowd and to the table of like the energy of a certain situation. And of course, obviously there's a ton of other stuff, outside factors other than like, okay, the people that came, but it's pretty fascinating. It's only three episodes. So
yeah, I'll have to check it out. I saw it and I was like, not sure if I'm interested or not. So did you watch it? It was good. It's worth a watch.
I think it's worth a watch. I don't know if it's not the best documentary I've ever seen, but it's like, Jesus, like, like that's crazy.
I saw some of the featured people they had on there. I think Kid Rock was one they showed in the promo who started it off and some other stuff.
Yeah.
It was like,
how much
I remember, that going down, but it's just interesting. So it seems like forever ago. It was. Yeah. Okay. Man, it's been forever since we last did an episode. So much has gone on. I finished Breaking Bad. I binged all 5 seasons over the course of a couple weeks.
Busy boy.
Yeah. I loved it, man. I was into it. Have you? I think you've seen me watch bits and pieces, but not all of it, or?
Yeah, like, 6 year number 2, she was into it, and I would like catch it from the side sometimes, but I never.
Yeah, it was good, man. I highly recommend if you're looking for something to watch and you haven't seen it for some reason. It's on Netflix. But yeah, it was great. So I was going through a little bit. Like when you're really into something and it ends, you're kind of like, dang. Yeah. It kind of feels like this little bit of void of like, what am I going to do now? Like that was what I was doing in my spare time. You get that when I finished Game of Thrones, even though it sucked, it was still like, damn, it's over. So it was cool.
Brutal.
Speaking of,
okay,
the new Game of Thrones show comes out on August 21st, which is 20 days from now. So it kind of crept up. I didn't even realize it was coming out this month.
Which one? Because I know they're doing like multiples. Is this like
this is called House of Dragons?
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is the first one that I was aware of. Actually, what other ones are they doing? I didn't even know that there was more. So I'll have to look into it. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited for House of Dragons to drop. So next pod, I'll probably have watched the first episode or 2 of that. I'm ready to air. But yeah, finished Breaking Bad. I started Better Call Saul. I know chat's saying right now that it's better than Breaking Bad. That's what everybody's told me.
Really?
Yeah.
And that at all.
If you watch Breaking Bad, then you already know
Saul get canceled.
No, it ended. It finally, like the last episode was recent. It wasn't canceled. I think they just wrapped it up after like 5 or 6
shot.
seasons.
It's been that. I don't know, man. I don't.
Yeah. They literally just aired them like this in the last couple months.
What? No.
Yeah, Better Call Saul ran forever, man. So. But anyways, I started that. So I've only seen the first 2 episodes of it. So I'm going to get into that and juice it. You're Googling it right now. That's so funny. I'm telling you, see, look, August 15th, 22, man. Like Like it's not even aired yet. The final episode.
Huh.
Don't believe me. It's okay. Did you see Thor by chance?
I did.
And?
Meh.
Yeah.
Super meh.
I agree.
It was just like
it's the phase is now ended where Marvel can't, like, Marvel put out hit after hit for so long. And I think it started with the pandemic. I think the first super bomb to me was the Black Widow. I thought Black Widow wasn't good. Then Eternals came out and was like possibly the worst movie I've seen in the last 20 years. But there hasn't been a good Marvel movie since then. I
can't believe like it was their idea to release Black Widow movie like post, like what happened. Like
you really think it was going to suck before COVID, right? Like it had to have been filmed at least. I don't know.
No, it's
either
just like
way.
I think going back, right? Like so we knew, like spoiler, right? Like Black Widow's fucking dead, and you make a movie about Black Widow, but like everyone in the fan base like knows that like, oh, it's in the past. Like what? Like I don't know.
You think they were just trying to ride the hype of Scarlett Jo's hotness?
And I also think that like it probably would have done better had it come out before.
Oh, I agree with that for sure. Like have it come out
before she died,
in between, like after the first or second Avenger movie.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you. But anyway, so like that was garbage.
Yeah.
Eternals was garbage. What was the other one that came out recently? Not Thor. There was Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
The second Doctor Strange was meh. Like Thor was pretty meh.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like they don't have it. Whatever they had, they don't have it.
This kind of reminded me of like Lord of the Rings, right? Like Lord of the Rings movies, I think were great. I think Peter Jackson did a good job. And then they're like, okay, let's make Hobbit into a movie. And since, hey, you, Peter Jackson, you did such a good job, on the first ones when we were like writing you and like making sure everything was like really good. Instead, we're going to give you like completely like, free range, like be creative, do Peter Jackson stuff. And Hobbit was like 100% result of that. Like it was just hot shit garbage. Peter Jackson was like,
I don't think Hobbit was hot shit garbage.
It was awful.
Like
it's terrible.
Eternals was hot shit garbage.
It's just the same thing. Like I think that Taika Waititi's a great director. I think he probably needs a little bit of direction so that movies don't turn into like just like a 2 hour long like boner joke fiasco. But yeah, again, I think he did such a good job with Ragnarok. I don't think anyone would say like, there's probably not a lot of people who say Ragnarok sucked, but I'm sure there's people out there. But like this one was just like, oh hey, like let's give you a bunch of money, go do it again, and then he just like went too far. Yeah, which is again, we talked about this last week. Sorry to keep interrupting you. We talked about this last week. Is like I think that Chris Hemsworth again, he's got probably some of the best comedic timing of anyone in like the MCU, and I think it was wasted in that movie. To be honest, I think that he really kind of had to struggle to find the comedy in like some of the script. Like,
it was forced. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
It is, the comedy in this one was very forced, even though it was still funny-ish.
Yeah.
Like you're still like, oh yeah, huh? But it was kind of forced, and they ruined some of the biggest moments in the trailer. If you watch the trailer, probably the best comedic scene in the movie was in the trailer, so that you already knew, like both of them, you already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so Thor was meh. Again, like we should do a movie review podcast because it's funny.
Right.
Still the worst movie of all time is Matrix 4, so don't have to worry.
Didn't you you were saying Eternals was worse than that. And I was checking
they're
by
close, man. They're pretty close to me. Like, somebody in chat earlier just said that Eternals wasn't that bad. I'm like,
it's really bad.
It's pretty damn bad. There's so many plot holes. That movie was.
But I would agree in the sense that it's not that last Matrix movie bad. It's awful, but the level of shit that Matrix movie's at is just like, holy crap.
I was in denial on the Matrix movie for a long time. I really wanted it to be good so bad that even after I watched it, I think I was in denial a little bit. I was like, that was pretty hot garbage. Crazy. And I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't that bad. But no, it was. There's
pretty so many layers to how bad it is. I can't even.
Yeah, it was pretty damn bad.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's it, man. For more PChild loves, I had my 10-year anniversary with my wife. We've, it's a long time to
10 years
be together.
That's a marriage. Is that marriage?
That's 10 years married. We've been together for
much
longer than that.
Yeah.
but we've been married for 10, so
Damn,
kind
congrats,
of a
dude.
cool milestone.
Can't even make a relationship last 10 minutes. So
I know.
good for you,
Fluff's
man.
like, right? Can't make what last 10 minutes? Sorry, I cut out. What? 10 minutes? Damn, dude.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's why you're single. So, anyways, let's jump into Q&A real quick.
Yeah. Lay it on me. What do you got?
Gotta pull them up. I don't have it up.
Nice. This is
Episode
your first podcast?
183. Yeah, it's the first time we've done. I mean, it is the first one in 6 months.
True.
Sith Lord says, you just inherited all of Disney's IP rights. What is the first thing you'd do? Disney owns what? Marvel, Star Wars?
Yeah. I mean,
obviously all the Disney stuff, which I don't care
without
about,
even
but
knowing what they own, my brain immediately went to Star Wars, right?
that
And,
mine did too.
Yeah. Start actually pumping out like good Star Wars content.
I would say, is it possible that you can make a cool Star Wars ARPG? Could you make? I mean, they've done the MMO, and I
Yeah.
would honestly be like, look, they've done the MMO twice, and I still don't think they've got it perfect. I think they could, but could you do an ARPG where you're like running around grinding stuff? I think that you could make it work
Yeah.
pretty well.
I agree with that
So-
too. Nathan just said like an R-rated Star Wars movie, like R-rated, maybe like Darth Maul series. I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Something.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Something good.
Yeah. Do it good. Marvel stuff would be maybe Iron Man 4. Can you get Robert Downey to come back and like make an actual good Marvel movie, please? Like, that'd be cool. Hex says, what's the first memory that you have of now I'm an adult? Like your first I'm an adult. Like, damn.
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, to be honest, pretty much my parents were the type of parents who were like, okay, as soon as I was like 14, they're like, okay, get a job and like buy a car. So like some of that stuff was already like programmed in me, but I don't know, I guess until I was 18, like if worst came to worst, right? Like my parents would like bail me out kind of thing. Like, oh shit, I really don't have enough money to like pay for gas, or like, I don't know, like something came up and I didn't expect it and I'd have to like borrow money, right? But as soon as I was like 18, they're like, no more borrowing money, like not even borrowing money. So
yeah, I'd never asked my parents for money. I don't think my whole life. I remember one time ever that I had to get my car licensed, and it was like really expensive. And so I borrowed $20 from my dad, and I paid him back like the next day or some shit. You know what I mean? That was pretty much the only time I ever asked to borrow money. My first memory of being an adult though, like, oh man, I'm old now. I think I was excited when I went furniture shopping. Like when I had my own place for the first time. And I remember I went furniture shopping and bought new furniture. I had already been living there, but I had like hand-me-downs, like people give you a couch and a table and whatever. Your first, time I moved out. I had some hand-me-down stuff. But I went and bought a new couch and a new chair and like end tables and like actual real furniture. And I was like, damn, dude, I'm excited about furniture. I'm officially old. So
I do remember, like, for me, I never talk about this, but I was a pro Halo player. And
you were?
I didn't know. This whole time I'm a Halo pro, I knew I was going to go back to college. Like, there's no question for me. Like, it was programmed into my brain, or at least I had set the standard for myself that like life wasn't going to begin for me until I graduated from college. And so really, like, I don't know that I even considered myself an adult until I got my bachelor's.
Okay.
And like started my first day as like at my career, right? Like that was a pretty big day, I think. It's like, okay, like now, like all these things that I've been like working towards. That's
I remember.
over.
I do remember when I got my first post-college job, and I remember it was, you go from maybe skipping class or getting up, or like I set my own class schedule to not have class before noon.
Right.
Like me personally, I'd rather take classes. I would go through the evening, but then it's like get up at be here at 8:00, which really meant be here at 7:45. And then work until 5. The first week, I remember, like the Friday of my first week of my first real job, being like, oh my god, this is the rest of my life. Like the weeks are going to be this long for the rest of my life. And you get over that pretty quick. I think I get used to it, but I do remember that first week being like, dude, the days are dragging ass right now. This is the longest day of my life. So, the next question comes from Akers. He says, you get to choose a tattoo for your ex. What would you get inked on them and where?
That's a good question.
I mean, can I answer for you?
What would you answer for me?
A Lord Fluffy tattoo.
The logo. Yeah.
The logo.
Smart.
And just like, I don't know, somewhere
or something. Smart.
Yeah. Like somewhere in the naughty places where whoever else was touching had to see.
No, I mean, I would think it through and do something like, like this. I think this meant a lot to you or whatever. And
so you'd be nice about it? I'm looking at this like the dick move.
No,
like I'm looking at it like I'm giving.
I could never do that to somebody, especially like I know a lot of people, and it's like American culture that like, hey, hate your fucking ex. Like I just don't have that. Like I just don't. I'm never. There's never gonna be a point in my life where I'm like, fuck the time I spent with Lindsay. Fuck Lindsay.
I mean, it depends on which. It depends on which one. Like there's a lot of them that are like, man, they were good people, and I have no ill will at all. But there's a couple that I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't. Give me. I don't even. Honestly, I don't care. Like there becomes a point when you're over somebody where you genuinely and truly don't care, and I don't really care. And so like even like, oh, I'll give them this evil ass tattoo. Honestly, I don't care. But if somebody was like, we'll put you on a TV show and you can do like, because MTV had a show like this, I think, right?
Where, did they? Where you could put a tattoo on
MTV, somebody? I don't remember the name, but somebody had a TV show like this, and I saw it, and some of the tattoos were ridiculous. I'm like, oh my God, I would kill somebody if they put that on my body. Yeah. Like they were horrible.
Why would you sign up for
that? Would you trust your ex to give you a cool tattoo?
I don't know that I would. I think I would trust like the ones before the last one, but I don't know that. No.
Yeah.
Should probably like put a warning label on me or something. I don't know.
One of them did like they got like a deadbeat dad tattoo or something on his stomach, like by his belly. Like some of the ones that they had on that show were absolutely ridiculous, man. It was like, check it out. I think it was MTV. But I don't. To answer the question, I honestly don't know. Like if it depends on what kind of mood I was in, because they don't mean anything to me at this. But like I said, I've been with my wife and I've been together so long, I barely vaguely remember much about them, to be honest. So
okay.
Zucky asks, have you ever raged in a video game so hard that you refuse to play it again?
Definitely not refuse to play it again. I definitely raged in like my 20s, especially as a Halo player. I would rage pretty hard, especially on my teammates. Poor guys. But no, I never got to the point where I'm like, I quit this game forever. No, I've never done that.
Trying to think. I don't know, man. I don't know if I've raged hard enough that I've wanted to like completely stop. I've had experiences. Yeah. So yeah, kind of. Yeah, I don't know if I call it rage, but I've had experiences bad enough with botting. Like, so I love GTA 5. Honestly, I think it's one of the coolest sandboxes ever created. It probably is the best sandbox ever created. But cheaters have run that game into the ground. It is like so rampant and they don't care. I've definitely been in lobbies and had lobby after lobby of just cheater. In GTA 5, it's impossible to go play online and not have cheaters in your lobby. Like it's not 50% or 60%. It's 100% of every lobby has cheaters in it. And it got to a point a couple years ago where I was trying to stream and every single lobby I got into was just full of cheaters. And I'm like, well, all right, I'm done. Thanks. So I haven't really played much since.
Lame.
So it's kind of it.
Okay.
And that is it. I don't think I missed any.
Easy questions.
Yep.
Right on.
So we won't be back for
at least 2 weeks.
Maybe 3
We're
weeks.
do our damnedest to do it again on the 1st.
Why? Yeah, we'll tweet out.
Yeah,
we'll tweet out if we are going to do the episode. Hopefully a day in advance. So if you guys are interested in making sure you catch it live, follow us on Twitter at ThaPChild, at Lord__Fluffy on the twits, and come check us out.
Yeah. Anyways, until next time, boys, we love you. Peace out.
Peace.